Hello, everyone, and welcome back to yet another match of the Winter WrestleMania Grand Slam Tournament Tour of 2025. We've got yet another match coming right at you for the quarterfinals phase. We're going to be seeing none other than Fruitcake Seed 40 going up against leegun Seed 36. So, both teams having made their way out of the round of 16 from earlier. Fruitcake having lost to Ruler on the round of 16, 2-5, and also and leegun basically just making it out with their opponent like forfeiting in the round of 16 conditional. They're both going to be facing each other in this losers bracket of the initial quarterfinals match. So either of these players basically at the brink of like whether they'd be able to like keep their chances of staying in this tournament. So gonna be a pretty tough battle to see between the two, but as usual, I'm not. I'm Epic Man 2, and joining alongside me is gonna be none other than Nightcore. How's your day been?
Good morning, Epic Man. Yeah, welcome to one of our first quarterfinal matches. I do believe this is the second one that has been on the Saturday. And again, as you said, you took the words out of my mouth. This is going to be a losers bracket. This is going to be, I do believe it's a losers bracket match.
Oh no, it is according to the bracket.
Okay. So what we can kind of take off this is, we are no longer really in the early game stage. We're kind of just more approaching into the mid game. We're approaching into the mid game. The pool's going to be a lot more physical. Definitely a big step up from what we've seen last week. So it's going to be more kind of controlling now combo, especially that less misses are going to be less misses is definitely going to be more significant now compared to what we've seen from the previous 2 weeks.
Absolutely. Like from what I've seen from this pool, having commentated for the show match only yesterday, there was like this is definitely quite the step up from like the previous map pool. Just like going up on this rather like sort of steep staircase, really, where the difficulty just ramps up the more you go. And it seems like with the warm-ups concluded, we're gonna be seeing the rolls come out, and right away we're gonna be seeing Fruitcake winning the rolls, coming out with an 85 over leegun's 36. So and going and opting in for the immediate Ellen to protect that's going to be Joachim Mode at Free Biao. The Ellen sort of density pick like being protected for this time being.
So what I was going to say, yeah, leegun, no, Fruitcake does win the role, and I'm honestly not surprised that they did protect on the Ellens. Coming from the stat sheet last week, it did definitely see that they were kind of more capable in the Ellen, and actually leegun as well, not really being too bad on the Ellen hybrid department as well. So I think for ban ones, I think it's just going to be more personal preference. Maybe they want to probably try ban for one of the rice picks. Maybe if they're not really comfortable in more the physicality, they could be going for maybe the harder rice bands. I'd probably be more obliged to say maybe even rice 5 or rice 4. Probably more the physical picks, or even something like rice 7.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like basically, a lot of these rice maps in this map pool are going to be pretty sort of like dangerous this time around, especially considering the fact that you've got maps such as Iambic 9 Poetry and also Chihiro, which are like pretty hard if you're not like careful enough. Iambic 9 is basically like a pure accuracy test that with like a lot of like pretty rigid tech patterns, whereas Chihiro is like basically a long tech map with some core jacks here. So that can definitely throw a lot of like people off if they're not like as well versed in rice. And as we can see, both players opted in for rice bans, so leegun gonna be banning rice too, and obviously Fruitcake gonna be banning rice free on top of that. So I guess that's pretty interesting. And with that, we're gonna be seeing Fruitcake going into the match with picking Alan Freeze. That's gonna be Temptation.
Okay, Fruitcake starting off by picking, well, technical LM pick. MTU. No, not MTU, M2U. MTU, fairly popular artist, where most people do map like kind of technical style LM maps. I do believe that we had something like Quo Vadis for one of the 40 Mania World Cups, where it was something kind of like, I would say it would be something familiar like this. But definitely, I would say this is probably going to be the hardest LM map to add in the pool. Like, you might be able to keep on combo, but again, like if you're trying to get that 99.8 range, and not 99.8 range, 980k range, it's definitely a bigger task than um keeping on to that combo.
Yeah, absolutely. Temptation. But yeah, anyways, I was saying, Fruitcake, having acquired that 980k nearly from earlier, that's basically just sort of like set the tone for the match already that maybe leegun might want to try and stray away from picking any of the LMs against Fruitcake. And we can see that leegun going to be picking out Hybrid 1, which is going to be Fission. It definitely sort of like makes a bit of sense because it has like some like rice in it, which I think Fruitcake might like struggle a bit more on depending on the scenario, but like at the same time, I don't think leegun is going to be entirely safe in this scenario here, considering that there's still like quite a plethora of LNs in this map especially, or at least like coordination or oriented ones for that matter.
Well, I think it's definitely worth a shot to kind of test wise around with Hybrid 1. Especially, you see Fruitcake's capabilities on kind of more of an LN heavy map, so kind of taking some of your strengths and kind of mixing things up a small bit could definitely be a good plan, especially that leegun actually has the better start at the first quarter, especially with Fruitcake finding that drop as well. So maybe just like taking advantage of that can definitely snag him over the point.
Yeah, absolutely. And leegun taking that miss, but Fruitcake trades it back, not going to allow the score lead to just simply sliver over to Fruitcake's side just yet. But it seems that so far leegun has the upper hand throughout this map so far, getting past the first half, which had like quite a bunch of different patterns, and like the second half only has like just way more. So that's not like enough to say that this pick's gonna be over, but there is still a lot of room for error for like either of these players to make. So leegun just has to like just continue the momentum that they have built off of so far within this map, and I believe that they might be able to snag a point in this if nothing like drastic happens on their side.
You very much took the words out of my mouth. So again, heading into the final quarter of this, does look like we do have a small. We're just waiting for kind to sync back up. But kind of as we do see near the end, I do believe it's just going to be some like jump stream or LM bursts. Actually, I do believe that part's over, and we see that leegun actually did find a drop there, which is gonna unfortunately swing the lead back over to Fruitcake, giving them that breakpoint actually.
Oh no.
Yeah, we missed the juicy part, unfortunately.
Well,
Very close as well, man. Only being 1.8k point difference.
um yeah, although leegun had the upper hand throughout the majority of the map, that's unfortunately not going to be enough at the end of this scene, as Fruitcake gonna be taking the cake once again, coming in with the 959k score. Both players having missed a few times, but leegun, but like the score lead between the two on this map wasn't very like far apart either. Like it was only less than 2,000 points, so definitely any like mistake could have happened there. And it seems that Fruitcake, having gone the first breakpoint in the match, I think they want to be able to. I think Fruitcake now wants to try and like secure like another easy point for them right off the bat if they can. So probably gonna. So I have a feeling they might like opt in for one of the LNs if I was to like put myself in their shoes, considering that there is like 3 Ellen maps left on the board currently. I feel like Fruitcake might view like the hybrids and the rice maps like as maybe a bit too risky going up against leegun. And it seems that Fruitcake gonna be picking LN1, so that's the coordination LN map. That's gonna be none other than Tokyo Night Flight. Definitely a bit of a sensible pick, considering that it has like quite a bunch of like patterns that you really gotta pay attention to, and in general, like, we'll just have to see how both these players do.
Again, I'm not really too surprised that Fruitcake has picked that one. Kind of staying over towards more that LN releasey side, kind of more or on the LN more oriented accuracy side. So again, um, yeah, I'm not really too surprised. Again, I'm not really too surprised. So we're just going to see how both these players kind of fare in a pick like this. Again, this is more the longer side of the map. Just underneath that 3-minute mark. So we're just gonna have to see how both players kind of handle a pick like this. Again, anything can still be taken into account. So it's anyone's game, really.
Absolutely, very well said there. And as we can see, getting through like this little intro here, we can see that Fruitcake has like given themselves a score lead for this time being, making it almost at a 10,000 point mark, whereas leegun sort of dropping their accuracy down quite amount that's going to like put them at the disadvantage here, just like dropping themselves under the 99% accuracy mark, but now they're just gaining on accuracy a bit, as we can see here, although the score lead is only increasing due to the like consistency in general. So like this is probably going to be a bit of a dangerous scenario for leegun here if they aren't careful enough, and if the score lead does not change, as this is already past the first quarter of the map. So there's quite a bunch of them left to go, and leegun taking that miss here, that's basically just spelled danger for them already, as if Fruitcake does like manage to keep their consistency intact here.
So as I was gonna say, Really, just the first Kia is gonna be more kind of really stagger oriented. Although Legan actually, I do believe, had kind of a high bit of accuracy compared to what we've seen in the intro. Again, intro is kind of more hand staggery, but as we do kind of get into the break, where we do see, I would say more simpler release. I'd say more simpler release snappings. We're just kind of both players are just gonna have to kind of find their groove. Again, we still have around a third of the map left, and we do kind of see those consistent patterns as we have seen for the first Kia. So, pretty much, we're just gonna have to see how both players kind of fare, and Legan actually finding that drop again, which is not really going to be doing them any favors this late into the map.
Yeah, indeed. And Legan, once again, taking those misses, that's basically spell, like, all the problems for them in this pick already. This being, like, a really strong pick from Fruitcake to have, like, in their arsenal going, especially because this is, like, a very dangerous, like, scenario in the losers bracket as well, considering that both these players, as usual, will be eliminated from the tournament if they end up, like, losing in this match, regardless. So, Fruitcake having the upper hand here, just like being able to like just simply combo and play these LN patterns as accurately as possible. Like especially a lot of these short LNs as well, which I assume would like throw basically majority of players off if they're like not the most careful like people in general. Like if they're like if like when it comes to being a risk taker, you want to be able to make sure that you can actually take those risks and capitalize off of them rather than like just simply taking risks for like the sake of taking them here. And Fruitcake here basically like acquiring that third point, just basically like already halfway through the mark that's needed in order for them to be able to like win. And it seems that Legan gonna be countering that with the Rise 6 pick. So I believe that is Accumula Town, the Korjak map, right?
You're correct in that. So about that map, definitely Frigate was a bit more consistent, especially as we have seen the difference between the 200 count, although the 300 count was similar. But again, at the end of the day, the 200 count is mostly going to be the deciding factor, but count can be also the deciding factor as well, especially now that we're kind of in the mid game. So, Lincoln actually jumping into the first rice pick. The very straightforward map. It is just going to be kind of more. It's just going to be your simple core jack pick, really. But again, it is a lot denser we've seen last 2 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. This map clocking in at about 112 BPM, and this being like only 2 minutes, like just any core jack map in general is like very scary because like when you have to factor for the fact that that core jack maps are all about consistency as they are like one of the more straightforward rice picks in a map pool like most usually, and this being like relatively slow, like we can see that so far the lead is so far like already tied, and so far the lead's not changing. It's just flickering between the two players as we get into the first proper court jack session, the source of the map, as I usually say, and Fruitcake hanging on to the 990k, but basically missing. That's going to give Legan the upper hand here, the advantage, like just going into here, because like if Legan ends up maintaining their consistency throughout the remainder of the map, as this is already halfway through, yeah, is that short, then this is gonna spell a bit of a problem for Fruitcake, as this might give Legan the opportunity to try and climb up in points once more, just catching up to Fruitcake's 3-0 like lead so far in this match.
That miss as well is not going to do any favors. See, both of those misses have been from early hits, and while not hitting early on the 300 wise, it's still very important to kind of control your nerves just so you don't hit like like exactly that early, because nerves can cause you to hit early a lot. And we're getting into the last drop again. This is more of a burst. I would say it's more of a bursting core jack pick, as it's kind of small break, get into the core jack again, and jumping out. Again, the quad's definitely going to put a lot of players off, but I don't think it's putting both players off. I do think it's Fruitcake just finding those accidental early drops.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Accumula Town as a map is like definitely something that is really sort of reminiscent of like these kinds of stop and go maps where like you basically just need to like stop and control yourself for a moment, and then you need to like really like keep yourself like on in watch in check, like when you like play like the actual like difficult patterns in this map. So being the core jack burst, considering especially as you've said, and it seems that with Fruitcake losing this point for the first time in this whole match, League and getting their first point, they're gonna be opting in for the Hybrid 2 Protect. So that's gonna be Chinese restaurant. So I guess it sort of makes sense considering that this is like sort of the LN bias hybrid, but and it also has like some other like tricks up the sleeve that can throw off players, but I'm honestly like curious to see how both these players are going to be performing on this map actually. Online.
This is a very classic setup. I do believe from 2015. I do believe this is a map from 2015, also ranked as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, you kind of took the words out of my mouth saying that this is going to be the Ellen style hybrids. So it's definitely going to be a suasive map, I would say. Again, pretty fast at 175 BPM and OD8 as well for getting around the first round. But however, it's at the start, but it's still pretty short maps, so you kind of just gotta, shake off the dust from the boots a small bit. So effective map. Again, it's fairly light coordination alongside, a good few roll LNs, a good few LN throws as well, which can definitely be a pretty tough pattern to, maintain to sustain your accuracy on.
Absolutely, and in general, like older maps such as this, in particular, are like usually like pretty difficult to act if you're not like way too careful. Considering the fact that like maps from like obviously the early ages of Oceania, obviously like or at least in the rank section, have like a very sort of distinct style that is like very different to like the meta now, where it's like basically a lot more simple, and there was like a pretty different like sort of standard for quality. So like this map basically being a bit sort of like more rigid when it comes to like parenting in general. Like as you can see here, this was like a map that was ranked in 2016, and having that SV jump scare, the lead is actually surprisingly close, but Fruitcake not wanting to allow themselves to be able to give up that lead to Legan, as this is their next pick, especially. And now we can see Legan like taking some drops here that's basically gonna give Fruitcake the upper hand in that miss, basically just sealing the nail in the coffin unless something happens. But this is just the final section of the map, and the score lead's basically grown to such a substantial amount. I don't think any changes are gonna be happening.
Um, Really good comeback from Fruitcake, honestly. Um, kind of recovering from that miss at the start, especially on a map that is 1 minute 50, would be extremely tough to recover from. So, yeah, Legan did find I wouldn't say too much of a significant act drop near the end, but it was more than enough to kind of, determine the fate of this map. Again, near the end, it's more it's just really kind of more faster when it comes to the final KI, and it's kind of a lot more funkier patterns. So that could probably be one of the reasons why I just believe that Fruitcake did transition into the kind of more speed up near the end. But now I guess Legan does have a couple of stuff on the board. I won't be surprised if we be staying more near the roast this time.
Absolutely. Like the hybrids in general, based off what we have seen, have just been a very sort of like rush battle. Like despite how close they were on various occasions, like what we have seen from Fission earlier, they have been quite dangerous for like both these players, especially. And despite that, Legan going to be going for the hybrid free pick, so that's basically all the hybrids gone as we bring out like the more gimmicky one, which is going to be like the more SV oriented one with some rice tech bursts here and there. That's sorry for that, but it's going to be a relatively like interesting pick to make, but at the same time, like I'm not sure because like the real question here is like whether both these players have practiced it and if they have memorized the SV patterns, because like it's only one course, and the map being relatively short, that one course just means everything, really, honestly, in my opinion, knowing this.
It's a lot shorter than you think. It's definitely more of an in and out map. Um, so really, I think this might. I think the outcome is probably going to be to he can kind of hit the first drop and near the end as well, where I do believe there are a couple of slowdown flams, which again at ODA can definitely. I can guarantee for a fact that one of these players will drop a 200 or worse on. won these just due to the SVs.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I believe, like in general, this map was basically made to like sort of experiment with like the likes of SVs in general, and like we can see Fruitcake taking a bit of a drop like on this sort of jump stream sort of pattern, which is going to give leegun the upper hand for the time being. But this like sort of jump stream being a lot more like short Ellen oriented, I have a feeling that leegun might drop some accuracy here, but it doesn't seem to be the case getting out of it, but the lead is still like too close to. But the lead here is still too close to home. Like as we can see here, just flickering around the 5,000 point mark. So like just any mistake can happen as we make it into this chorus, which just getting past like this sort of just getting past the like majority of the map, and like as we can see, like it seems like both these players not going to be choking just yet. The accuracies are still so close, so like any mistake here is going to spell like way too much. And Fruitcake taking that miss, that's basically like felt it already as leegun gets the upper hand.
Yeah, a pretty significant accuracy drop, I do believe. From Fruitcake. I do believe both players have dropped a bit of the accuracy, but Fruitcake is definitely going to take that more detrimental hit. So it's just going to be more, well, here we are, the slowdown flams near the end. I don't, definitely right now, there's not going to be enough of a difference to have any big score changes from this. Especially that, like, at this point, you can pretty much just quad it. And yeah, actually, as I was saying, leegun dropping in too much on the slow jam flams. So yeah, I was gonna say guaranteed at least one player you drop it on one of those.
Yeah, absolutely. And even despite that, as we can see from the scores here, leegun getting that 980k and Fruitcake with the 950k, they're still like sort of like in the same area, but like Fruitcake here had the stronger ratio despite the misjudgments, despite like the like amount of like hits that they took, the amount of shots that they took on this map in comparison to leegun here, who literally only got like 9 greats and 264 perfects, as we can see here. But despite that, Fruitcake going to be countering that with LN4, so that's going to be our love. This is, I don't know how to feel about this. I feel like this pick might be a bit more like risky because like yet once again, it is an LN map, but despite that, it's like literally, in my opinion, the closest LN map that you could get to a hybrid in this map pool, considering the amount of rice that there is in this map. So like, probably wanting to leave their protect for the loss, like because once they didn't get elite, Fruitcake did protect LN too, so like they probably want to save it for like later if they need to break a point like real quick, but. This might be a bit of, but now things are gonna get pretty dangerous here.
Well, I would definitely say that LN4 will be more of a wiser pick compared to LN2. Again, this is more your wildcard LN picks. So, again, requiring more releasing accuracy compared to something like LN2, which you can kind of just not really have too much release fundamentals. Fruitcake finding that drop on the LN trills as well, which is not really going to be helping out their favor. But again, we still have most of the map left, but only being at 2 minutes, it's really going to be hard to recover, and actually double trade misses as well, which again, anything's still up on the board now that both players still trying to find their equal footing on the ground with their combo.
Yeah, absolutely, and basically getting through, like getting past the first half of the map, it seems like the score lead, despite like those misses from earlier, it's going to be really close, like very close. In fact, this is what I meant by this pick being relatively risky due to the amount of rice difficulty in this map specifically. Like just any like mistake on these rice patterns can just cost like way too much, and we've seen Fruitcake and their overall performance on these kinds of rice patterns before. And like taking that miss here, that's not going to help anything as leegun is already way past the combo cap. So like going to get the upper hand in scores for this time being, despite the accuracy difference. Like leegun just needs to hang on if they want to be able to like try and get this point off of Fruitcake's pick, which is going to be very crucial for them if they want to be able to try and keep their life in this tournament right now.
Second drop definitely is going to be a bit more anchory compared, seeing us just some jump stream bursts. Both players still managing that very well. Um, it's probably just more down to personal preference, which drop you find easier. But this drop is definitely a bit more. I would say
Oh,
this drop's a bit more easier. Actually, Fruitcake taking back their lead. Um, so almost did kind of risk that. Almost did kind of risk that breakpoint, but um, Matcha just swing it back near the last second. But very close. Match by very close. Sorry, very close map by both players. And that actually gives Fruitcake a potential match point now. So Legan is going to probably have to pick fairly wisely.
absolutely. It seems like Fruitcake's risk from earlier having worked out, this definitely put them into the driver's seat as they make it into the match points. So Legan gonna have to be careful about what they can pick now, because like now at this point there isn't any like more, there isn't so much options. So like you'll probably have to like go for like just try exploring the rice field, considering that you've already exhausted that all the hybrids have already been exhausted, and there's literally only one Ellen map left. So like I don't, and knowing Legan, I don't think they would want to pick an Ellen map against Fruitcake based off what we have seen earlier. And it seems that despite that, Legan going to be picking the Rice Fort, which is the worst. So like this being like a bit of a more technical, like sort of dump pick, especially like it definitely makes sense to test the waters a bit, considering that we haven't really seen any technical maps in the rice field throughout this match so far. So like gonna be a bit of an interesting pick, but at the same time, like any map for Legan here is going to matter like way too much now. This is like the worst scenario that they could like possibly encounter, especially in the losers bracket here of quarterfinals.
Kind of map's called the worst. So I won't really say this is too technical. This is definitely going to be. I would say this is probably more of. I would say speed and even broken jump stream. Again, playing this for 3 minutes, definitely going to be. It's definitely probably our biggest step up from what we've seen from the round of 16 to quarterfinals. We haven't really gotten a pick like this. We have seen some more vocal dump, maybe even some broken jump stream, but nothing really too pure stream wise like this. But what I can really say, this map is just more. I would say this map is. I would say the first quarter is just fairly calm. Like we're gonna be seeing a lot more. You're gonna see a lot more wild stuff when we do when we do break past that first quarter. But for now, I guess both players can kind of just like settle into their groove for the first part.
Yeah, and it seems that so far, Legan having dropped some accuracy through some of these patterns, taking that great there, that's going to give Fruitcake the advantage so far getting into the first quarter. Like with these sort of like, tame like dump stream sort of patterns that are relatively bursty in their own right. So like, it's going to be, this is really like a really bad scenario for Legan already, considering that this is their final pick potentially in, because like now at this point the Legan just doesn't have any options other than to simply try and force a tiebreaker, which is going to require a reverse sweep of all the maps that are left, and literally the majority of the options are just rice maps. So like, and like despite that Fruitcake taking the miss, that's gonna be a clean miss. So like bringing the score lead closer to Legan is going to be like really dangerous for both these players, because like Fruitcake here wanting to try and end the match as it is, just simply throw Legan out of the window or something like that. But Legan gonna be trying to retaliate here with this rice map, considering knowing that Fruitcake has shown like vulnerability on these rice maps before, and like we're gonna get into, and now we're gonna, and it's not like so much time until we get into some more source of this map here.
I would say probably. See, the thing is with Fruitcake's miss, it definitely was the best place to miss around there, because especially now, you know, you can't really take advantage with that because, you know, you're kind of getting into the break. But now we're kind of kicking off again. We do see a couple of more jumps, even some jump throws as well. But when we do get into the final quarter, we're gonna be for the final KI, we're definitely gonna be seeing more of those dense throws, heavier jump stream, and more of 4-note rolls. Pretty much it's gonna be like the first. It's gonna be more the first KI, but pretty much denser. So we're gonna have to see how both these players do fare on this. Again, the lead is only by 5k, so
honestly, anything can still be on the board, but we're just gonna have to. But it's gonna come down to this pretty much. We're gonna be seeing those. We're still gonna be seeing those two-hand trills, some of those weird snapping jump streams as well. And
But
Fruitcake finding a drop that could potentially bring the lead back over to leegun again. And the score is closing off. leegun is going to trade back the miss as well. It's
what?
going to bring the lead back to Fruitcake as long as no one else misses.
Wait, there's not enough of the map left! Wait, Fruitcake taking a miss, but like the score is flickering! leegun going to be taking that win by only just 1,000 points! Bro, there was not so much of the map left, but both these players just choking on like various places in the map that's going to give leegun another point, yet another life to live, but now, oh my god. Oh
Rise
my
4.
god.
Yeah, Rise 4 is definitely a choke of the map, especially as we kind of seen that performance near the end. Um, Yeah, so leegun is going to be taking that point again, actually kind of making a small comeback for themselves. So Fruitcake is going to be jumping into LN2 straight away. Not really taking any more chances. Just jumping into what really they're good at.
Yeah, Fruitcake just losing that pick by just a small amount. I think now Fruitcake is gonna really want to try and like do their best to just try and end this match. Cause like if they don't end up winning on their protect, then that's probably going to be it. If leegun just picks like any of the other rice maps, cause like once this is the final LN map of this map pool, so like if anything happens, then Fruitcake is going to have to risk playing another rice map if they want to try and like win off of this. But like now, this is like the most important map of this match right now. leegun gonna be wanting to try and keep themselves afloat in this theme right now, but Fruitcake gonna be wanting to try and end this match once and for all. Like, and the first time wasn't the charm exactly, but now Fruitcake is gonna really want to try and like try their best now, and maybe just try and avoid missing for any other occasion in this map here, as this is their like probably most confident pick ever in this match.
Despite it being a density pick, I'd say it's still fairly release heavy as well, and definitely a lot stagger heavy as well. Fruitcake actually finding that drop, but just because the accuracy difference is fairly significant, I think it would be more of a simple recovery for them, but it's still kind of, close the score difference a small bit, and leegun trading it back as well, which is probably just going to be whiting it again, which, gives Fruitcake kind of more that safety step in case they do find more of a dirty miss like we have seen. But as soon as you get to the halfway point, you have to be on your toes in this pick, as there's not really much room for error. Another trade back miss as well. You can definitely see leegun's a lot more nervous, especially like as they're releasing extremely early, as you can see from their UR.
Absolutely, leegun taking those fatal drops like along the way through that like sort of like reframe section. That's going to give Fruitcake the objective advantage here, but like despite the amount of times that Fruitcake has missed, there's still like a quarter of the map left. So like Fruitcake really needs to like try and like keep themselves intact if they don't want to give this lead up for leegun. Like they definitely have like such a massive cushion now, just having a lead of about nearly 60,000 points, but now with that, there honestly isn't enough time for any mistake to be made on the side of Fruitcake to be able to give the lead back to leegun. So that was a very, very close match, actually. This definitely could have gone to tiebreaker if leegun wasn't like missing here. But even then, even without the misses, it probably wouldn't have been the outcome of this match, the deciding factor. So unfortunately for leegun here, it seems that Fruitcake gonna be winning off with the 6-3 victory and making it into the conditionals of quarterfinals. So gonna be facing the winner of Blade versus Troyer, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
I do believe you're correct. Now, again, well played to both players. I do believe leegun just really having that detrimental drop near, as we do see into transition for the second Ki. But it happens. in most tournaments, you know, nerves definitely are play. That nerves definitely play a big factor, and we haven't seen them throughout the entire map. So maybe it could be just something to work on. So yeah,
Yeah,
Pripyat is going to be
absolutely.
taking that win. So unfortunately, that does mean we do have to say goodbye to Legan. But at least he did make it to quarterfinals, which is is a pretty good stepping stone, honestly. So Fruitcake is going to be heading into their second conditional this week. Where we did say, I do believe, I'm not too sure who they're going to be facing, but they will have their chance to be playing in. They will have their chance to be playing in semi-finals next week. So kind of stay tuned for that. So next up we do have Chicken Bowl versus Bruder, which does start at 11 UTC. So again, stay tuned for that. And I believe that's all we can. I believe that's all that we have said.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Um,
so do you have anything you want to say before we can take that 20-minute break?
Honestly, I don't know. Like, I just want to say that I wanted to congratulate Legan earlier for bringing such a valiant effort into this quarterfinals. Like, especially like considering that this could have been a really close match. It's even if it's not going to turn out in their favor at the end of the day, it was still such a strong performance regardless. So like, even if they didn't like end up, even if you didn't end up winning like in such a tight match in the losers bracket, you still did incredibly well nonetheless. And there isn't many other people that are able to pull this off really. So like, well done, you know?
Yeah, well done. So, yeah, I believe that is pretty much everything we both have to say. So, unless you have anything else you would like to say.
Nah, that's it. My script is out.
Your script's out. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be taking our 15-minute break now. So yeah, we're just gonna be our first moment. So stay tuned.
Yeah, thank you all for tuning in, and we'll catch you in 20 minutes. Peace.